Welcome back. Now, the country has been awash with stories of gold, fake gold, whether it exists, whether it doesn't, including in our bulletin tonight. So we want to take you through what the legitimate process of bringing in gold into the country and export it. Now, it is clear that the government in the United Arab Emirates has distanced itself from the latest saga. We'll, of course, talk a little bit more about it in Newsgang, but this is just what it would mean legally. So today, the explainer is about the gold trade. But before we get into it, let's just set some information straight. So for those who want to trade in minerals like gold, you would require what is known as a mineral dealers trading license. International buyers can buy from them. Now, most of the gold in the world originates from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but it is held in mostly Eastern Congo, which is under rebel control. And it is what is known as conflict gold. Quite expensive because it's being sold on the black market. So if you want to bring in gold into the country, all you need is that mineral dealers trading license. And when you bring it in, there's no royalties that are charged. However, if you now bring it in, hypothetically speaking, and you now want to export that gold to whatever destination. What is the process? Well, the first thing you would do is apply for an export permit from the mining industry. Now, in that application form that you would put together, you would be required to give a number of details. So let me get to some of those details now. Very simple. It requires the name of the applicant, the entity applying for the export, description of the commodity, the packaging description, its weight, the source, that is where it's obtained from, as well as the destination and the royalty liability amount. And I will get to that and explain just how much it is. So once you get this approval, and this, by the way, is done by the Cabinet Secretary for Mining himself or herself, or by the approving officer on behalf of the CS, and you would need that signature and that stamp as well. So once you get this permit and it is approved, the next thing that happens is this is where the Kenya Revenue Authority comes in. They enter all those goods into what they call the Simba system, and it is at this point that you are charged 2% of the market value of the gold. That's what is known as royalties. So now I'm sure you're wondering, so how much is gold worth? There's a website that tracks the international market price of gold, and as of today, it's called goldprice.org. As of today, the price of gold is $41 per gram, or in Kenya shillings, it's about, let me take a look at that. I'm just doing it here on my phone. It is about 4,187 shillings per gram. So you'd be charged 2% of the market value. So once this process has been done and you have paid your taxes, you would then choose the method of transporting these goods. So for purposes of this conversation, because this is what we have been plagued with in the news, let's say, hypothetically speaking, the gold is coming from the DRC and its final destination is Dubai. You could use air, road, or sea, and that depends on convenience, on the safety. Remember, in Samugino's story yesterday was talking about the number of borders that it would have to cross, the safety of the regions. So let's say you're choosing air to export it. Fine. So what happens before export? Well, a very important process, and that is where the customs department then comes in. They take a look at that consignment. They take a look at what your declaration was. Remember, we talked about the weight, the packaging, the market value. So they go into all of these documents. And remember, the customs department, actually together with ministry officials, that is the Ministry of Mining, will then seal the package in the presence of the client. In some cases, they even take photographs. And on that seal, they will also declare the description of the commodity, its weight, how it has been packaged, its exact source, its destination, its value, and the royalty amount that has already been paid to KRA, as well as, again, the approval stamp and the signature. So that is how the gold would then make its way out of the country. However, before doing that, your goods could be approved or rejected. Why? Because they would take a look at what was declared and what is actually in the consignment, in the package. If they do not tally, then your goods are rejected. And that is the point where you would hear that the goods are being held at JKIA. So these are some of the procedures that you would have to go through for gold that is tonight standing at a cost of 4,187 shillings per gram. So these are some of the important steps that you would have to go through. If any of these steps are flouted, then that gold is said to be rejected, or that export. So these are some of the things that you would be able to go through. Remember, we'll be talking a little bit more about it on NewsGang, and this information was gladly provided to us by the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining, that is solely in charge of this process, of course, together with the Kenya Revenue Authority. So anything else that doesn't conform to this is an illegal process. We're taking a break here tonight.